way men build men. Be all you can. Cause we building over here. You heard me? Huh? Iron sharpens iron, and I say men build men. One who builds up they brother, not tear down they kin. Giving hope to the youth and show them how to be men. All that child's play over, this way men build men. We uplift, we inspire, this way men build men. Be a man that kids admire, give a helping hand.
Welcome to Inline Conversation with Men. We're a new podcast out here starting and just want to have conversation amongst men about, we're regular guys, just conversation that men have. Not really barbershop talk, because, barbershop talk kind of be, a little, what do you want to call it?
Barbershop talk can be a little vulgar sometimes.
Yeah. Just scratching the truth a little bit.
Raw a little bit.
Those
conversations you have, like, you know how you back in the day when you was little and shit, your mom pissed you off, you go in the room, shucks, and close the door.
Yeah.
You talk all that shit behind closed doors.
Running away.
Right.
Right.
So I think that's what it's more barbershop talk. I think this is to help the youth. To help men.
Right. A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you some real conversations, some real stuff, our life experiences. These are gonna be our opinions, our real life experiences. So nothing is law, but it's just what we've encountered and what we believe and what we kind of live by, and kind of go from there.
No worries. We're not going to be rating you women, okay? We're not going to Kevin Samuels, guys. God rest the Godfather, but we're not going to do that to y'all. This is a men strictly show. I think the youth needs something to...
A little guidance.
Where I'm from, peace to all the earths and the gods and the earths from D-Mecca and Mecca. If anybody know anything about the 5% Nation or the Supreme Lessons from the Muslims, the babies are the future. You teach the babies, and they will take into key what you're teaching them. A child, to me, is very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very impressionable. So whatever you align them with from birth on up, they're going to eventually follow that, which leads into what our conversation is going to be today. Is basically, what did you learn from your father?
That's right.
What lessons did you, did you take from that you apply today? So, this is going to be I don't want to say a barn burner, but it's going to be some gifts that we're going to give you guys today. I want to thank Vince for bringing me in on this project that almost didn't make it.
Hiccups.
Right.
It's all good.
Had a lot of opinions, but no solutions. That's one thing about men. That's the number one thing. You can't have opinions or disagreements without solutions. A real man has solutions. He's only concerned with solutions. That's it. And it's an honor to meet Chuck D. I'm already feeling the vibe from this brother. He's a good brother. And I love to share experiences with him and grow this thing, and hopefully our goal is to give out game, to reach.
That's right.
Give out game. It's gonna be a lot of stuff. We're gonna give our backgrounds and stuff like that, and tell our stories or whatnot.
What'd you say, Chuck?
Well, man, like Spike was saying, man, about the village, man. The Bible says, "Train up a child in the way it should go. When it's old, they won't depart from it." So a lot of the stuff that was instilled as kids, you might shy away. And you might go the opposite way sometime, but no matter what, you're always gonna come back home.
Amen.
So I mean, everybody gonna say what they need to say, but I have a different, of course, maybe opinion from these two guys, but together, like Spike and Vince said, the main objective is to not just reach kids, man. Sometime iron sharpen iron. I'm gonna learn something from this brother, something from Spike. And at the end of the day, we all grow together, iron sharpened iron. That's what it is.
That brother's preaching. I think we need to get the brick collection.
Hey, well, look, I got a bucket right here, man. We about to pass that thing.
Put the hat out, man. Let's give God some praise right now.
And something you said about raising up and and eventually you can think things out. Not every day, but some days I think, and I'm doing stuff, and then I go back and think, man, I remember my dad, so-and-so, or I remember my mom, saying this, and how you do that, how you've been there before, it seems like, but, it just was an experience you had when maybe you were younger, And now you're thinking, oh my goodness, that's the same thing my mama used to do. That's the same thing my dad used to do.
Yeah.
Same thing so and so used to do, or whatever. So that where he's talking about things always kind of come back. They may not hit you right then, but eventually something that stuck, will come back to you and you may think a different way about doing something or how you're doing things right now, and then kind of go from that. But again, our topic is what our fathers taught us, or what have we learned from our fathers.
Who want to start this thing off?
And you want to start? I want to start.
I'll start it off.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, a little bit about me. I am from the great Michigan, the Motor City is what they call it. That's where they made all the cars. My father, a little bit of background about me. I come from a line of musicians and engineers. And then my mother's side of the family, there was just bona fide hustlers. All the hustlers come from Detroit, Chicago, or the South. And actually, everybody's from the South. Technically, they just migrated north. If anybody know the history about your people, a lot of Mississippi people ended up in Chicago, Michigan, New York.
Right.
Everybody from down south already went up north. But long story short, my dad was an electrician, master electrician, that is. And the things he used to teach me was, the main thing two things that stuck with me was integrity and always make sure your neck was clean. I never knew why he stressed about it, but as I got older, chicks used to like to kiss on your neck.
Is that literally neck? Okay.
Literally.
Okay.
Keep hygiene was big, but mainly integrity, respect, and honor was the three main things that he used to teach me. If you asked me if I knew anything about a circuit breaker, I would probably say no. I actually went to sleep on a job, and I got a lousy $50, and he explained to me, you can't sleep on the job. You got to work hard. So work hard, treat people right, have integrity, have honor, and respect. Respect is given. It's not taken. You have to treat people how you want to be treated. So those things carried me throughout life, actually. Don't let the glasses fool you. No, I'm not Clark Clint up with these glasses, but I treat people how I want to be treated. If you respect me, if I see a sense of respect, I'm going to give you that same thing. But I'm not going to be the first to disrespect anybody, because that comes with consequences. And he used to always remind me of, the people I was around. I took him around. I can remember a vivid memory that stuck with me to the day. First time I ever introduced him to the partners I was running with. And he just looked at me and said, these guys going to still be here while you going off to college and you get successful, have your kids, you going to come back. You can always come back to this. I told my dad at 15 years old, oh, nigga, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, mind you, my dad at that time was 40, dying, actually, of cancer at the time. So I didn't believe him. I thought he was lying. I said, you can't be. All my niggas we going to college, we doing this, we got it. I left the hood at 19. Came back 10 years later, no shit. He was right.
Yeah, association, similarity.
He said, and luckily I had a lot of OGs. When I lost my dad at the tender age of 19, so that means I got him for 19 years, but at the peak of manhood, he was gone. So I had older cats. A lot of my friends are in their 30s and 40s. At that time, I'm 20. Luckily, I had cats that kept me out of trouble, but when he told me that stuck with me to this day. I'm 40 now. About to be 40 this year. God's blessings, I'll be 40. And no shit, most of my friends or associates back in Michigan are doing the same shit they was doing 20 years ago. So that's my long-winded lesson that taught me is you're guilty by association. If I'm not teaching Vince something or teaching Chuck something, there's no point in being friends, unfortunately, if we're not learning from each other. You only gonna be as strong as your circle. If your circle's some robbing ass niggas, that's what you gonna tend to be, because you're gonna gravitate to that. Thank God that I kept those lessons. So that's my long-winded,
I got you. That's good.
Explanation. To get a little emotional behind it, but it stuck with me, man. It saved me in many days.
And just like I'll go. we're all different, man. You know, when I look back at my dad, I'm from Mississippi, where you said it all started. Where he's coming from.
Hey,
So I'm from
all
Jackson,
players and
Mississippi. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. My dad from Raymond, Mississippi, country area. My dad, I think, I don't really know the years, but my dad's sixth grade, his father passed away, to where he had to not go to school anymore and go to work and be, considered that man of the family. You know what I mean? So as far as, things that my dad taught me, this is probably going to be a shock, but me and my dad probably have never sat down and really had a conversation. Never. And I'm 50. My dad's 80-something. But the way he taught me things was through him doing things and me looking at him and, come here, boy, come with me. Let's do this. Let's go out here and work on this car. Let's go out here and in this garden out here and do whatever. And, 5 o'clock in the morning, he gone to work every day. They ain't missed no days, ain't did nothing. He gone to work every day. And I just look back, at that. And, everybody has their own, their dad maybe sat them down and taught them about girls, taught them about life, taught them about financial, all that. Well, that's why I think I learn by doing things. I don't, you give me an instruction book, I'm put it to the side and I'm gonna look at it and be like, okay, this look like it go here, this look like I go here, and go from there. But I learn by doing things and not hearing things, because my dad didn't really conversate like that. It was just watching him do the things that he do. And I'll never say that he wasn't a great husband or a great man or a great father, because he wasn't a husband to me. He was a dad to me. Mm-hmm. So that's between him and my mom, you know what I mean, or what they had to deal with, to do whatever they did to raise me and my sisters and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I just looked at him and I respect him. I respect him for now to this day. When I go back home, we just sit down and still ain't no conversation. We just, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm all right, still here. And that's it. You know what I mean? Ain't really a whole lot of conversation to this day. So I just think I learned a lot of stuff from him by watching him and watching what he do. And, he wasn't no, this and that, but he was my dad. He is my dad, and I respect him for that. Just go from there.
That's what's up, man.
That's what's up.
Well, little old me, I'm just like both of these brothers, man. But the only difference is I didn't have no dad growing up, and my father died when I was a little boy, 3 years old, and but I had other people, just like the stuff that we're doing, the things that we're doing today, to help out other people, to the youngsters, or even some older men, to catch on to bridge the gap between their own sons. I was just raised by my mom and my two sisters, and but on my mom's side of the family, those guys were street guys, hustlers, or homemongers, right?
Where you
Players.
from? Where you from?
And I'm from New Orleans, right?
Okay, I was gonna ask you that, brother.
I'm from New Orleans, but on my dad's side of the family, these brothers were men of the cloth. So I'm in the middle. Mm-hmm. I have church on one side, and I have the street on the other side. So, but of course, as a kid, mm-hmm. the worldly side was better.
It looks better.
Oh, it's always romantic.
It looks better because these cats had money. They drove nice whips, even though they were station wagons with the wood on the side. That's back in the day.
Hey.
They were doing something, you know what I'm saying?
Open in the back.
But anyway, man, like you tend to go more to that side, and so and then when you have your uncles or your other older cousins telling you, hey, man, like honestly, do this, and the reward is better for you, but in actuality, it wasn't better. Because you get to be at a certain age and realize that everything that I was taught was wrong. So as far as me being the person that I am now, I have a son. I have a son too. So as far as the handbook on how to be a good dad or a great husband, I didn't know nothing about none of that. So there's a lot of crashing and burning that I've done.
But do we really know the handbook to life like that? Because we all got to learn, like you said. No one knows the handbook.
Yeah.
But continue. I mean, yeah. Do we really know that?
So we don't know. But then the stuff that you may go through are learning curves, and those things that help you transition. You know what? Like Vince said, I don't want to be that person no more. So what do I have to do that's different to change my my way of thinking towards those things, or to make my son not go down the same path that I went down?
Right.
So some of the lessons that the guys taught me, hey man, make you a lot of money. God bless me. I worked at if anybody know anything about New Orleans or the Louisiana, Mississippi River, we have a lot of chemical refineries, and that's what I've done. I worked in the chemical plant for years, 20-something years. And of course, it generates a lot of money. And but that part of me, even though it happened, I still was away from home because it was, a lot of blood money. You working 12, 16 hours a day, and your child's still going undone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you have to pick your poison.
Yeah.
Either you're going to do it this way or you're going. So man, it's a learning curve. So, but now me being in the position that I am today, God bless, that now I have a better understanding. And like you said earlier, man, like getting emotional, I don't know what it is. Like I'm 53 years old now, believe it or not. I know I don't look it, but hey.
Hey, they say it's true. Black is not crack.
So, but 50, I get emotional now. I get more emotional because those things mean something to it means something more to me to be a better person, to be a better, to be a better husband, or not even. Because I always wonder, like you guys said, man, you was 19, Vince, you still have your dad. I don't know what it's like to have a father. I've never been fishing before in my life. So maybe, one
That's
day.
an idea. We should do a show from the fishing.
Maybe one day we can go out on the pond.
On the boat,
Yeah.
Once I get my boat,
do so. But honestly, man, like I've never been fishing before. I eat a lot of fish.
We all do that.
But I've never, some things that kids experience I've never experienced before. So, and there's no disrespect to no one. It's just that I've never done it. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, man, with this, now I wasn't the number one draft choice like you coming in. Vince, you guys decided to do it, and I was like,
yeah, we had to cut some people.
You had to cut some people.
GM had to cut somebody, and no pun intended. But
so, but I mean, it's no disrespect to them.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's no disrespect to nobody. But at the end of the day, man, like I'm so happy that you guys allowed me to come on here to even share my story, or even to help me out. Because this is a tool that's not just going to help the kids and other fathers. It's going to help you and help me to become better.
And on top of that, YouTube is giving a lot of money away for podcasts.
Bling.
50 to 100K. They want to get away from Spotify and Apple TV and all these other streaming websites. Not to say we're doing any sponsorships like that, but that's the real reason, though. And the big thing is being able to share stories from Chuck D and Vince, Spike, and be able to, because somebody out there may be able to relate to our stories.
Yeah, because life is like a relay race.
That is true.
And so when you run in that race, you go to a certain point and you got to hand that baton off. That baton is you giving your testimony away. Whatever you're going through is personally for you to go through. It's for you to go through because what I went through, Vince couldn't handle it. And what Vince go through, Spike, you couldn't handle it. But those things that you go through are not just for you, it's for you to give away. Yeah. And that's that baton. So the next person that comes along.
It's crazy you talk about that baton because, for other race of people, they, have generational wealth, generational, great ideals about what's going on in life. And sometimes it seems like that we only have generational curses that we kind of pass along to the youth. Right. That are coming along behind us, and we need to have these conversations, to change that platform, to be able to teach, financial literacy, to teach the importance of education, and teach the importance of taxes, and teach the importance of, just everything in life, because we think we know how to maneuver around this world, but we really don't know, how to maneuver around this world and be a successful marriage, a successful being. Like, I listen to other people, other, races, different things like that, and a lot of them have therapists. They might not talk to them every week or every month or every whatever, but even therapists have therapists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody to talk to, somebody other than your homeboy.
Who ain't gonna give you no game.
Right, that don't know nothing but his experiences. Now, that's good to listen to other people's experience, different things, but to also listen to somebody who's experienced, who's went to college, who has training, who's listened to an abundance of other people's.
Well, man, not only that, Tiny.
No, go ahead.
Let's go, Tiny.
Go ahead. Tiny. That's his name.
That's what I call him, Tiny. But anyway, man, not only that, a lot of times if I was to tell Spike, hey man, like honestly, Spike, I'm going through something, and I think I'm gonna go to a therapist. I think I'm gonna go seek some counseling, brother to brother. And most of the time, brothers say, "Man, you crazy, dog.
You
Man, you
crazy.
crazy, hell, man.
Man, you better go hit you.
Man, you better, because it ain't.
It's not normal.
It's not normal.
It's not
Something
normal
must be
with
wrong.
us.
Something
That's
wrong
right.
with you.
You crazy, bro?
Yeah.
And to add on to that, right? A lot of times we are taught to sweep things under the rug, hold it in. That's cancerous.
Yeah.
The body is a biochemical organism. Everybody knows what it is.
Let it go.
Gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. You gotta, everybody say, well, you look good, you look young. Yeah, because you can't stress over things you can't control, right? And like Vince was saying, the generational curses, we were taught a certain way of how to live a certain way. When I look at our youth and I look at our, the things I see on TV, one thing I do see is that we don't control our image. We don't pass those teachings down. Like he said, when you talk to a Jewish, and for the record, Jewish people, no disrespect to them, it's a religion, it's not a race. Just real quick. But when you talk to someone that's Jewish, or talk to someone that's Korean, or you talk to someone that's African, you talk to someone from another culture, they are breaded with certain things that follows them to life. Like that leads on to our conversation today. When you think of someone that's coming from, I used to work for a Japanese company, Toyota. Toyota is the father. Toyota is the son that owns two companies. When they come over,
Never knew that.
yeah. So Toyota is the car company. Toyota, that makes the beams and all the rubber stuff in your car and your consoles and your nice steering wheels. They actually, when the airbag industry bottomed up, they took over. Toyota took over. And now they're the leader that sells airbags to everybody. All the technology, the airbags in the doors. I worked at that place. Even though I was in tech, I seen all that. The testing dummies, all that shit. So when they come over to America, they're taught. They go to school 365 days a year. There's no breaks. They're already told when they're little, you're going to be an engineer. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be this. And they funnel that way of living into that child. We, on the other hand, we got so much PTSD. Like Vince said, therapy is good. My wife talked through therapy when my wife is battling cancer right now. Well, we're at the end of it now.
Right.
She talked to a therapist during their process. Because to get hit with a sentence like that, you mentally break down. And whatever the mind tells the body to do, it's gonna do. It's true. The mind will follow. The body will follow the mind. You take the mind out, the body's gone. There's nothing. So, to lean on to what Vince was talking about, if we instill these things, and like we said, we remember. Chuck said, "I don't know what it feels like. I'm emotional now. I didn't experience that as a father. You know what I'm saying? But now, with these life lessons, I'm starting to be more vulnerable. I'm opening up. Vince say, hey, when I meet we still, we don't really get into the talky talk do this. I fell asleep on the job, but was taught certain things. If we was to instill those things that we learn, like you said, to evolution, our kids would be better.
But how do we? So it's sometimes there's a force in between the parent and the kid, to where you're trying to talk to them, they don't want to listen, and then at some point, nobody's listening and nobody's talking.
Communication break.
How do we get past that? Because I think we already talked about it, which is therapy.
Therapy is one of them, but this is what I used to hear from parents in the hood. Even when I was growing up, my mom, shut the fuck up. You doing that motherfucking crime. Right? So I don't have children, right? I have grandchildren. So that gives you a little insight of where I'm at, right? So when I talk to my babies when I see them, I don't yell at them. I've tested this. When you yell at someone, or when you're speaking vulgar to them, something in the mind blocks that out.
You're right.
Even as a kid.
As a kid, you be like, she ain't talking about shit.
Man,
she always motherfucking play.
Big Spike, I've learned that recently.
Yeah.
Now, Big Bro, I'm going to tell you why I learned it recently. Because, not to just get off of kids, but I'm newly married. And
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. And just say me and my wife get into some heated fellowship. And I'm going in. Because my thing as far as growing up, I have to be
dominant.
I have to be provider because I didn't have no dad, so I feel that I have to do that's how I have to react.
Well, hold on, I want to ask you something.
Go ahead, Doc.
I don't like the way you say you don't have no dad.
Why? I mean,
because you had one.
Well.
And you still got a father that's watching over you.
Yes, I'm with all of that. I understand.
When you say it, I'm like, I got a picture of him in the house.
I'm just saying.
But I understand what you're
I grew up without a father.
Right.
Man, like honestly, of course, I'm 3 years old, 2 years old. I remember some things. Okay, vaguely.
But truth be told, you don't remember nothing.
I don't remember nothing.
Right.
But like I was saying, man, my wife and I having heated fellowship. Man, if I'm going in, this woman don't hear nothing that I'm saying. But all she hear is me being volatile.
Yes.
But, so like you said, I tested it. So because I don't want to be that. That's my queen. I don't want to be that way to her. So then I say, I have to do some soul search, some research, because that's my baby. Because if anybody else was to talk to her like that, I'm going in.
Oh yeah.
So I came clean. And I backed down a little bit. I said, babe, like honestly, this, and so back home, everybody called me Diesel.
Diesel, what that mean?
Back in the day, everybody called me Diesel, right?
I think there's a story behind it. We might get that later.
But now, I'm Wilson.
Okay.
And
you're Wilson to your wife.
I'm Wilson to my wife because she don't Diesel, Chuck, all that. She don't go by none of that. You Wilson. So I have to be this way. Hey, babe, like honestly, we talked about this already. Instead of saying, hey, you know what, we talked about this already. You know what I'm saying?
Damn it, it's gonna be what it is.
So, but when I talk that way, she don't hear me.
Yeah.
Like back in the day when your parents used to get in on you, my mom used to get in on me. Like I don't care. Go to your room. You get in that room. You screaming bloody murder. You done pull out the suitcase and you done pack the bag.
That was my last asshole actually.
I'm packing the bag. So, but now, guess what, man? Like honestly, it's all in your delivery on how you want to speak. Because guess what, you can't speak to me out of turn.
There's a saying on that. Well, it's not what you say.
It's how you say it. And then truth doesn't come with a bow, right?
Right.
But like you said, when you your soft skills.
Yeah.
So I used to work in customer service. I worked in customer service before I got into IT, and it teaches you how to break conflict. I know how to break conflict quickly. I know how to dissolve it. I know how to deflect it. I know how to move it out the way. And like Vince says, how do we do that? I think if, like I said, my babies, they were doing some shit that I didn't like. And the first thing I thought was, and went back to when, I was doing some shit my mama didn't like. She'd yell at me. Then I said, nope, that's not going to work. Let me test this.
Yeah, you gonna test.
Hey, babies, come here, let me talk to y'all for a minute. Because the thing we do is we chastise the child. We tell them what not to do, but what we don't do is tell them the reason behind that. And if you tell the reason behind it, then as the child progresses, they will understand, okay, I can't do that because of this. Instead of saying, well, motherfucker, if you do some shit like that, your ass gonna be fucked up. So that right there, the child's already blanked out.
Right.
That's abuse.
Right.
Quasi kept, if people didn't know, if the police see you and your girl yelling at each other and y'all really going at the finger pointing and motherfucker, that's abuse. That's
My sister is a police officer. She told me there's a statute, a law that
That's
about
abuse.
vulgar language and different things
That
like
is
that.
abuse. You could go to jail for that in certain states. I think
Right.
me and my wife, I've never been convicted, but we live in a compartment. Listen, I don't believe in knocking your girl around and all that bullshit. That's this whole shit. You're a punk, whatever. But we was getting a little heated in the conversation. Like Chuck said, the fellowship wasn't quite
Where it needs to be.
friendly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we both are licensed gun owners. So it didn't get to that point, but it was to the point where I know you keep your 38 under there. It was, I put it like this, I hung out too long.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, I hung out too long, guys. And that's it. I just came in a little too late. I got a little lenient. 3 o'clock is like,
Yeah, there is a curfew
There's
in
a
marriage.
curfew.
I don't care what you think or whatever.
it's a curfew.
You
They
know.
may give you an extension, but you really want to be home by 11:30.
right.
And if
Right.
you're of a certain age,
Right.
you don't be out like that.
That's right.
There ain't no
That's right.
clubbing. I watch somebody get their brains took out in a club, so I don't go to them no more. But anywho, Vince, I think if like Chuck said, it's the way you say it.
Mm-hmm.
If you step back, you know what? Let me approach this a different way, and that'll fuck the next person up that you have the volatile fellowship. I'm gonna take that word from you, Chuck. Fellowship. I'm gonna take.
Yeah.
Well, that's Juanita Bynum. Juanita Bynum said that back in the day. Me and my husband were having heated fellowship.
Heated
I
fellowship.
like that.
Yeah.
Heated fellowship.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
take that, y'all. Chuck, you gotta.
I might have to do something.
You
with
might have
that.
to get a shirt with that. We don't do heated fellowship over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let me ask you something, guys.
Okay.
One question: how do men, because we're talking about men,
True indeed.
handle conflict resolution? Do we all the time? Because see, let's go here. We know we got a situation going on, different things like that. So do we talk in that calm voice? Do we talk in that masculine voice? Because some men would be like, man, this motherfucker, I ain't even trying to hear that bullshit.
Well-
you know what I mean? So how do we handle conflict resolution?
I think sometimes, man, the best thing to do, maybe, and every house is different. So, a little long time. Let it die out a little bit.
Right.
You go in the room, I go in the other room.
And then you just look right now. There ain't no safe word. I don't believe in all that safe word. I don't believe in all that. I just believe that, hey man, like honestly, right now is not a good time for me. Let's come back a few minutes. I know it might sound crazy, but because I know if you keep talking, like if I chill out and don't say nothing, and you still going in, that thing that's I'm trying to suppress
He's
and
gonna-
keep down, it's coming.
You don't want to see me when I'm angry.
So you know what, Chuck? Let's
So
Men, no, let me just say it. Me and Chuck had something to where we were having a conversation, and he just brought up about the die down part. You know what I mean? We were having a conversation. It did not get heated, but I may have felt it was going the wrong way, or he may have felt it was going the wrong way, and we didn't talk. We've been friends for over 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm married to his.
Well,
His wife-
let me
his
just say this too, Tiny. We didn't talk, but before we left, I told him
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
But guess what? We always gonna be brothers.
Yeah.
Just because I'm getting up right now, that don't mean, guess what? We ain't gonna fuss.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna do this.
Yeah, we were both getting off some things, in the conversation somewhere. And, he did, like I said, he said that or whatever. And I just was like, you know what? Maybe we just need to move away from each other.
Look,
for a minute, you know what I mean? For a
Period.
while.
What happened before all of this started with the fellas?
Yeah.
Sometimes it take walking away.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, we sometimes, in the heat of the moment, we get outside of ourselves sometimes. We may be so firm and stuck on what it is that we're trying to get off. 'Cause I've lost friends like that. I know dudes right now I have not talked to because they were so prideful.
You know why, big bro? You know why?
Why?
Because most people go off of the reaction.
Yes.
But for every action,
There's a reaction.
there's three things that they got to go through: an action, the response, what is it? The action,
The reaction.
And
the consequence, and then
the response, and then the consequence. So the action, the reaction, the action, the response, and then the consequence for the response.
So the reaction is worse than the other two, because guess what? The reaction puts more fuel on it. Because if I come at you with my reaction, because you, like me and my wife talking, don't worry about the conversation. You know what? The last time this happened, this would happen.
Yeah.
And now what happens is she don't hear nothing about. She don't even worry about what happened prior. The action would happen. But my reaction to what happened was then trumped all of that.
Yeah.
So
It
sometimes
takes
you
you back
got
to a place.
You know what? Yeah, that is so correct, because I go back to me and you having that conversation, and if my reaction or your reaction would have been to where we would have bulked up at each other like we were gonna have a fight,
we would have tore that whole place up.
Well, even if we wouldn't have fought, if it would have bulked up to where it would have been a fight, then I couldn't have never came back
Big bro.
to that.
Let me
to
just
you on that. You know
tell
what I mean?
you like this. I'm telling you, back in the day, me and my homeboys would fight. See, it's different now. Me and my homeboys would fight. Some of my guy friends who I used to fight with back in the day, we good friends. today.
Best of buddies. I remember growing up like that.
But that's when you were young. See, me being 50, my circle right here.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you. Listen,
So in every year I get older, it gets smaller.
Yeah.
So
you
if-
know why? I'm gonna tell you. See, this I am.
Yeah.
Jesus had 12 of them. He had
Okay.
12. He had 12
and
friends.
he told one of
Right.
them, "You shall forsake me 3 times."
He had
And
12
did.
of them. But when it was time for him to come up, and see, this is what you got to also remember. When it was time for him to go up, he only brought 3 of them with him. Because when you're going up, there's only space for everybody can't have this win.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
can't breathe.
Everybody can't get on the ride with you. Everybody can't.
So this right here, man, like honestly, man, it's powerful. And guess what? It's going to reach. It's going to touch.
oh yeah,
So do men need to talk more?
men need to be able to have
Real conversations, and not
inline
those.
conversations. No pun intended. That is the name of the show.
Conversations where, you know,
There's
man,
understanding.
sometimes, guess what? It's going to hurt.
So, I'm not saying I'm a 5%er, but let's just say that I haven't got my righteous name yet. But there's a word that we use where if one of the gods are getting out of pocket, and please, these guys are not calling themselves God, like the holy God, but they feel like they're the cream of the crop or whatever. I'll get into that later on another show. But anyway, there's a word that's said to bring a person back into their space. We used to say like now cipher. So now cipher is a circle. So now come back to the circle. Get off your soapbox. Because a lot of times, again, we be so built into our bravado, and I'm standing on this, and that's it, and I'm going to say this the way I want to say it. We missed the whole point. So to add on to what Vince is saying, men do need to know how to properly have discussions where, hey, brother, I wasn't feeling that day. And I felt like this, and be able to express themselves and disagree to agree. Because that's a lot of most of our problem is poor communication, no conflict resolution, and we don't know how to agree to disagree. I can, and not to bring it back up, but I can disagree with everybody in the room. That's not going to make me buck up or jump up and feel some type of way. First of all, I'm too old to be rolling around on the ground with you. As you can see, I'm slightly overweight, but I'm working on that. Secondly, I don't know how that's going to transpire from an ego. A lot of our young brothers that's dying right now is due to ego and pride. I got to prove that I'm that guy. You're not going to punk me. And it goes back to what you were saying. if we learn how to have proper conversations with each other, learn how to communicate effectively without hurting each other's feelings, then we won't have so many brothers losing their lives, or I gotta catch that nigga on the back end when I catch him. That's most of our problem. Our people, black people in general, do not know what conflict resolution is. And funny, that was supposed to be one of our first shows.
Yep.
It was conflict resolution. How to effectively communicate with each other without, one, disrespecting each other, two, respectfully saying, hey, I disagree, brother, but I still love you.
Walk up on the stage and slap him.
You know what? Keep my wife's name.
I'm joking.
That's called the Will Smith now. Do you know that brother has lost a lot of movies?
Man, I'm joking. That was a joke.
That was a joke. You might get Will Smith, and there might be something behind that. But see, he knew what to do. He knew who to do that to. Because The Rock had did something like that similar to him. Not same type of joke, but a joke on him and his wife.
But you know what? You
didn't do that to
you bring that up, and like I said, what do some of us need to do? Because some brothers still live by that same code. So with men, I think that if me and you are beefing.
Well, define beef, because
beef, just a disagreement.
Beef is when I'm at your front door.
Well, that's what I'm. So what I'm gonna say? Disagreement or time. We're having a heated conversation. Mm-hmm. I know, and we already kind of said this about it. I know that if I use the words, man, you ain't nothing but a bitch ass motherfucker.
Hey, that's
then I have to be prepared
for what's coming behind that.
For a fight or whatever, all this and all that. You know what I mean?
Well, depend on the demographic and the age range.
If I say it in my head that I'm finna say this, I gotta be. You might not do it, but I gotta be prepared enough to say that.
But does that mean the person that you're calling a B word to, if he reacts off that, right? It is a sign of disrespect. But does that say a lot about him?
Doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
Does he really feel like he's that in the inside? He has to prove that he's not.
No, it's just a real.
It's a very disrespectful word.
That's just a sign of disrespect. So if that brother on the other side that I'm saying this to, he can either say, you know what, man, all right, and just walk off,
right,
or he can fight.
That means
it doesn't necessarily diminish him as a man if he does either or.
Right.
To me.
I mean, real men walk away sometimes.
Right.
Well.
Sometimes. You see, I had to put the word in there. Sometimes. If I'm in front of my lady and you call me I might have to touch you. I might have to pull the Floyd Mayweathers out on you, man. I don't know.
Me back in the day, it would have been war.
Oh
right.
Yeah.
But now, I wouldn't care if I'm in front of my old lady or not.
See, that's how I am. That's how I think too.
Say, man, like honestly, you win. Because guess what I'm not gonna do? Because most of the time, if I'm out, I'm clean. Don't judge me like right now. Feel me?
Oh no, I don't want to get dirty.
So, bro, look, I'm not gonna go to war with you because guess what? My life and what I got going on right now is worth more than what you're talking about.
It's way past these words.
And that's
they're only words, and that's your opinion.
I done walked away.
Now, if you keep going,
If you keep not, you can talk all day.
Touch.
But if there's repercussions to whatever, cause see, and I'm gonna jump back on the Chris Rock deal for one hot second.
2 seconds.
Just a hot second.
Yeah.
Because if that cat would have slapped me, I'm just see that whole row, that front row.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Perry, Denzel, the little chick from
from Black
Nikita,
Panther. All that.
whatever her name is.
They all would have got it. They would all
Bradley Cooper.
They all of them would have felt something.
No, those white people.
They would have been moving.
Oh yeah, they got to move out the way.
But I'm just saying, like honestly, because now you don't push me. But at a certain point, it's almost like a drunken man. You're gonna take. You're trying to do right. Mm-hmm. You're trying to do right. So, and I took 2 steps forward. But if you keep pushing me, like
2 steps forward, 2 steps back, buddy.
We ain't going nowhere. So at some point in time, I'm supposed to move on from that foolishness.
Right.
So I don't want to be unbalanced.
Right.
So what's gonna happen is, bro, I'm with my wife. I'm gonna be respectful to you because what you're not gonna do, you're gonna have to find you something safe to play with. Period.
I like that. You're gonna have to find something safe. That's a great warning. That is a soft warning.
So let me just say this. I've been knowing him for a while, all right?
Okay.
And remember I told you he pushed toward the discreet side?
Yeah.
And the gift of gab, you know, that's...
Oh, I can tell that already.
Yeah,
Master mouthpiece.
so yeah.
Well, now listen. Wait. Like I said before, I wasn't the number one draft choice, but I remember what you said. What you said you had, big bro. You have to have a gift of gab.
You have to be able to. So a conversation, and I'm not getting off topic, but somebody asked a question about can a guy be friends with women? I said no, you can't. There's no way in hell.
I
don't believe that.
I believe that, at least for me, if there's no purpose for you, then why I'm keeping you around.
Yeah, I believe that.
If we're not going towards that, but then I don't want to get off topic, but if they're not going towards that, and he had said something like, for niggas they ain't getting no P, that's a problem for them. So it's a dude that's supposed to be my brother. I moved from Michigan. I ain't talked to this brother in months. I talked to everybody else for months. Nigga done cried on the phone. People will do Academy Award-winning performances for you. So I said all that to say this. I pulled him into the chat, like in the box, like, hey, bro,
Checking on you.
just let me check your temperature real quick.
Yeah.
You say that, right? That doesn't apply to a man that's married. And if you're getting married, that shit goes away. There's no use for a woman if we're not dating, then we don't need to be that. But anyway, long story. That was one of those times where I had to check myself. Because people get loose online. Mm-hmm. They won't say the same stuff
front to front
in face.
Yeah.
A lot of people may look at me and say, oh, yeah, No.
Don't let the glasses fool you.
I will hit you probably from 50 yards if I wanted to, right? But I come with respect. I watch a lot of mob movies, of course. Those guys are built on respect and pride, and there's a whole bunch of stories about that. But sometimes you got to check people and see, like you said, dude, I'm gonna walk away. I'm a Martin Luther King you now. Don't bring out Malcolm, sir. I'm giving you a safe place to fucking play with somebody. Don't play with me. Go play with your kids. So I think a lot of times, what will help men, at least men in our age group. I think we're in the same group. I'm the baby of everybody, but we're all in that 40, 50-ish. Mm-hmm. We don't look at guys, just let you know that we didn't have a hard life. Even though we probably did, we don't look it, okay? But I would say that my mental is more in this area than it would be somebody that was actually my age. You know what I'm saying? Because I can talk over somebody looking like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I had a lot of people over me. But I think what helps us is that learning, you mature at a certain point. It's a certain point you get to, hey, my family is more valuable. I'm more valuable on the street with my family and in the bed with my wife than I am in an 8x10 or worse.
Yeah, and a 6x6.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I think what will help us,
Yeah.
what will help us is just taking a step back and say, you know what, this ain't it. This ain't the energy I want. And quiet as a kept, if you got to get rid of that energy, you got to get rid of it. You can't, like you said at the beginning, everybody can't, go with you. Everybody's going to be accepting of you backing down. Somebody's going to have a point to prove.
I mean, especially if there's people around.
Oh, yeah, when there's a crowd and females.
So if there's people around and you back down, of course, you back down, so they're gonna be like, this dude just done pumped this man.
Ain't no way somebody did
his
that.
wife and everything.
Yeah.
And but then like for me, big bro, I don't even. You can say whatever you want to me. I'm at the point where right now, because my wife didn't even calm me down a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Where, hey Wilson, let's not do that.
You got that yang, that yin and that yang.
And that's kind of sort of where I
Let's
wanted
not
to
do
take
that.
the next question was
Yeah.
what do you do right now as a man for conflict resolution? When we're talking about, I don't ever want to get into the men-women type, dynamics or whatever, but in your relationship, in all your relationships, even the ones at home, out in the world, out on the job, all that. Because sometimes our jobs conform us to to be not who we are. You know what I
Well,
mean?
big man, I have, with all due respect, man, like I have this. I just got my real estate license, so I have to be a little bit more softer, you know, because if I'm out here trying to sell these houses and I done showed you 10 houses, you haven't brought one yet. That other
here,
person, man, you
man.
gonna buy this house or not, man?
Yo, B, this house going for this, son. You ain't gonna get it for no better.
You know, but
Soft
man,
skills.
Yeah. So, but on my regular 9 to 5, because I do work as well. You know, I've been in the chemical oil field for 20-something years, and this guy who works for the Commerce came up to me the other day. He's a Spanish brother, and man, he said, "Man, Chuck, like, I have to tell you something." And I was like, "What is it?" He said, "Man, you are an amazing guy." He said, "Man, I've been here for 7 years from Mexico. I've never met anyone like you." Now, I don't know if that was the gift of gab that he see,
Amen.
but what he does see, because I try to be this person, I let my light shine wherever I go. So people are drawn to light. If you don't have nothing positive to say, I'm talking about when you walk out of your door. My mom always taught me, show me the company you keep, and I can tell you what kind of person you are.
Tell it.
You know what I'm saying? Or just those type of things. So if I'm out somewhere, I try to let that person, the same person that I am at home. But now, of course, I can be rubbed the wrong way, and sometimes I can get pushed. You know, like, and I have to say, you know what, Chuck, man, bag that thing down. But this brother came up to me and said, "Man, like, I've been here for 7 years, and you're very instrumental as far as helping me." And he said, "Man, there's something different about you. What is it?" And I was able to tell him, man, like, I haven't always been this person. You know what I'm saying? So for kids coming up, for other brothers, because guess what? For kids, it's very important. Like we were saying earlier, it was you, Spike, saying that we got to grab them now.
Yeah.
They looking.
Because guess what? They looking.
And they're looking, and we need more of us to instill the balance. I'm not going to get off topic, but there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world. And
I don't know. Why not get off of balance? Because guess what? A lot of times, Spike. Maybe not this one. Maybe 2 shows from now, maybe we can get off the balance.
Yeah, we can touch on that. Yeah, we can touch on that.
Because what happens is, believe me when I tell you, they need to hear from every aspect. Because
Right,
guess what?
because it's going to confront them at some point.
It's
and they need to know how to deal with it or what you feel about it or
Big
do
bro,
whatever.
not to even get off. Like you said, Spike, not to get off the topic. Where I live out in Frisco, right? And I have 2 daughters. I'm not gonna say stepdaughters because they're my daughters now. Because I'm.
Hey man, say that again because I've been married to my wife. She has 2 sons. One is deceased. One is, and unfortunately, she's what we call a statistic. She lost her son to death and lost her son to the system all in 1 year. And then when I met those boys, I told them these are my boys. Even though they didn't have nobody to really instill in them, but these are my boys. Really, yes. Your son's, he's a big 15-year-old. He's about tall as you. He was on the football squad, whatever. So I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
Because nothing is step.
Yeah, it ain't no.
What is a step? What is an in-law? What is that?
Big bro, because even when my mom, because a single parent.
Yeah, me too.
I always said, man, when I was to find my wife, I never wanted to find someone with kids. I was gonna always find me a single with no kids, right? Immaturity. Because if somebody would have accepted my mom, she had 3 kids, me and my 2 sisters.
Yeah.
So man, I started thinking about that. But like I was saying, my two daughters, we live out in Frisco, and a lot of times they be the only little black kids in the neighborhood.
Yep.
So the hair is different, they look different, and people don't see that. So when we try to dilute that by, hey, let's not talk about this, not you, I'm talking about, or not us. Let's not talk about this. When in actuality, we need to bring it up.
Talking about it, yeah.
Because what happens is, it's real. See, when we leave out of these doors, it's real world out there.
It is.
And when they leave out,
it's very. I mean, in the society that we live in today, they'll turn a blind eye to those girls. When in actuality, they still need to learn. They still need to be taught about the stuff that we going through, because guess what? Even though we live there, it don't make a difference sometimes. And man, I just feel across the board, even like just say the incident with Will Smith.
Yeah.
This man could have ran for president. If he wouldn't have let his emotions, like we would do, if something would happen with the other brothers, like as far as confrontation, he could have damn near ran for president.
I mean, he had the look. He had the clean look. I mean,
he could have went up on stage and grabbed the mic
and hugged that man
and say, you know what, right now, and maybe I'm wrong, but hey, or when he accepted the award, hey man, Chris, I'm
gonna holler at you in the back.
I just wanted to tell you, man, like right now, Congress just passed a law saying that it's okay for a black woman to wear her hair natural. Right. And in my mind, what you mean Congress just passed a law saying it's okay for this woman to wear her hair natural, when other nationalities, they don't have to have no law that's passed.
But I think the joke that he said, not to get off topic, I think it's old. I think the joke that he said, me personally, it was more of a lot of people didn't see G.I. Jane. A lot of people never seen that movie.
Right.
So that movie was a defiant movie. It was actually a big up to women, because when you're going through the service, I'm not in the service. I know you's a fellow serviceman, right? Women are not looked at. Parameters have to be changed for them. And this is not a woman's show, but we just got to touch on it for a second. Their parameters are changed. So when you're thinking of a Marine, you go through some grueling training. I know a few Marines, 2 Navy SEALs, and Vince too. And they tell me the story. So when you look at G.I. Jane, that movie was a defiance. So on that, hey, because I'm a woman, doesn't mean I can't roll with you guys. Doesn't mean that. I can, the parameters have changed, but I've overcame some of these things.
Right.
And I think it would have been a great look. Actually, Chris Rock could have pitched that as a movie.
And helped him.
Because we don't know her as a leading actress. Not to get off topic. We don't know Jada. When we think about Jada Pinkett, who do we think about? Will Smith.
So to bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back.
To bring it back, the whole thing is there was a different way to handle that conflict.
Yep.
There's always going to be a different way to handle any conflict that we foresee out there in this world or in our home. So and it's best for us to kind of sort of, I ain't gonna say be exposed to all ways, but to kind of process all the ways in our head before we make a decision on how we're about to handle any certain set situation, that we're going through, whether it be for a job or a relationship, any type of relationship that we have, so just, and through learning to me, like I said, I learned through going through things and doing things, just seeing how you may have dealt with a situation just by hearing it and be like, oh, well, maybe I'll try that. You know what I mean? Maybe
and that's what we should be able to do. We should be able to, like Big Bro said, we got to be able to learn something from each other. We got to be able to pass things along, because that lesson that you learn, and again, not to get back off of it, but I hung around these dudes every day. And learning these lessons and learning how things kind of operate, you got to be able to look at every possible scenario. Like in the movie Friday, when he pulled out the gun and shot him. We thought, oh, shit, he shot Debo. But really, it was his mind showing, okay, what if I do this? This is what's going to be the consequence behind that. And I think a lot of times we react, like you said, the emotion gets up in us. We react and not even think about the consequence, not even thinking about what could possibly steer from that. So again, it's a lot of different layers to conflict resolution, thinking about consequences, and then communicating those things.
Communication is
That's
key.
the biggest.
Well, communication is key.
Is the first thing, you know. And
most of the time when we're communicating and we're thinking, we ain't even listening to what they're saying. We just trying to wait till they get what they call a pause, so we can get in. So it's like a double dutch.
And what's the thing is, it's like
ain't nobody listening.
Most people listen to respond and not listen for the lesson. And it goes right into the thing my father taught me. He said, if you run in your mouth, you're not hearing, so you're not listening. Talk less listen more, because it can be something in that lesson. I've had stone cold crackheads. I'm from Michigan.
Taught you a good lesson.
Man, hello? I had to give him $5 after that. Like, damn, you earned this rock today. You know what I'm saying? But there's always, evolution is key. We got to know how to grow. We got to grab our babies. We got to grab somebody else's baby. I remember where you used to be able to walk up the street and the next door neighbor would get you together if you was out of line. And then they'd come home and bring you to your mama like, hey, I caught little Johnny over here fucking with the apple tree. I got him together for you. Now you got another passionate ass whooping coming from the whole family because you did something. But we don't have those days no more. We're so protective of our children. We don't allow the village, like you said. When you said it took a village, that took me back. I remember the block clubs. I remember Miss Johnson up the street who had the good candy that said, hey, I see you.
Everybody knew everybody. That's
Yeah,
right.
We had
before
Miss
you
Atterbury.
get, before you, huh?
Atterbury.
Miss
sold
Atterbury?
frozen- She sold little frozen cups.
Man,
Who is frozen cups?
before
what
you
they
get,
call them in frozen cups? What they call? You know what I'm talking about, right?
we call them ices up front.
Ices? Yeah, I heard that before too. Okay.
Frozen cups or Huckabucks, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. So we need that, man. I think that this show, the more we have these really inline conversations, because we got to keep each other in line. That's the whole point of it, keeping each other in line, accountable. And I think I say this thing, and I stole it from. I took it from, because you don't steal anything, you take it and you run with it. I heard KS say this one day on the show. I used to watch his live streams for 3 hours just to see, because you watch 20 seconds of Kevin Samuels thing, you don't get it. And he said accountability is like glass. People would rather eat glass first and die before they be held accountable for something, because it take a lot to say, you know what, man, I messed up, I did wrong. And that's another thing. We are so prideful, which breaks the communication. We want to go back and forth, and then we don't want to take a step back and say, damn, I did fuck up. I had to do it on my job a few times. When you're writing those loans, the income comes back fucked up. Oh, yeah, I fucked up on this one.
Right.
I fucked up on this one.
Right.
You know, the loan ain't get sold, but yeah, hold on, this is a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a problem.
I've had to confess to some customers too.
So-
Hey, my bad.
You know, this ain't really go the way I thought it was going to go, but I got a solution for you. Again, we got to be able to resolve problems right there on the fly, because like you said, there's some cats out there, man, that's so bent up. I think a lot of cats just need love. I think,
Well, they
and
say
hugs.
they say, you know, if you're in the middle of an argument and you walk up and hug somebody,
That's going to fuck him up. Damn, nigga, you hug.
Now you walking up to him and he cold cut. Then what you gonna do?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if he
he
Will
see-
Smith you.
No, I'm just saying you walking up. He think you coming up on him like, I look.
Hey,
Hey,
down
brother.
cypher, you know, he get you with a straight to something.
Come on, man, bring it in.
Bring it in, dog. Bring
Come
it
on,
in.
man, bring it in,
that's
man.
some things I've been watching another podcast and Fat Joe was on there.
Someone,
Yeah, Matt Hoffa, and he was talking about some, you know, resolute things that he had something with 50 Cent, and you know, they were going back. Fat said he was talking about my family, my this and that, and they were in the same area with each other at this time, and Fat Joe just walked, either 50 or Fat, one of them walked up to each other and said, "Peace, man," and stuck out his hand. No, 50 walked up to him and was like, "Peace, man." And he said he's sitting going through his head like,
the fuck is he doing?
I really want to get down with you.
yeah. And he said, "Peace, man," and they shook hands, and the beef was squashed.
Well, you know, they
Since
was
then.
under the same umbrella for a minute. Chris Lighty.
Yeah. Well, they brought his name up too.
Chris Lighty was
you know,
the
all
one
that,
that
but
was
yeah,
the kind of, when he passed away,
right.
50 had dropped a lot of his beefs that was up under that Chris Lighty Green Lantern, what we call it, umbrella. But that's just to show you that at some point in life you mature.
Man, I think for me, Spike and Vince, that man, I play this thing out in my mind several times, man. Like, I'm a big sports dude. Shaq, that's my
Oh,
my
man.
true homie, you know.
He got some bad choices as a Cowboy fan, so you know.
Bad choice. Well, I'm from Detroit. I mean, the Lions ain't won shit since.
Well, that's just
You know, Shaq my round. And I like listening to him even on NBA and all that stuff, right? And but man, like at one point he had me with a tearjerker, and
With the Kobe?
with the Kobe situation.
Oh man.
And
God rest the day.
he was like, man, honestly, if I just had one more chance to say, say something, sorry, whatever to him,
Even though they sat down and had a conversation and squashed it, but you still want to have a
like
conversation.
for me, man, like even with Tiny, my homeboys, you understand? Like we always didn't see eye. We always, and probably sometimes we still gonna beef,
Right.
about some things. But man, I don't want to never let it get to the point where, man, I can't say I'm sorry or I apologize.
Yeah.
Or like Tiny just finished saying, like we hadn't spoken in a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, I didn't have a problem showing up where he was.
No.
Well, yeah, that was never going to be a problem because we never took it to a level of disrespect or fighting or anger in that point. And what actually truly happened, I think, we were Easter weekend, they had a family reunion on their daddy's side, and we're going, they're going, they'll be down there, and I think your wife texted Rocky, my wife, was like, "Hey, we're gonna go somewhere," and I was like, first I said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good."
That pride.
Serious, I'm like,
They won't
I ain't fucking
I
with
go
that
to
shit,
the family
man.
reunion, but we ain't doing with the boat ride.
Boat ride.
No, I ain't
in
going.
the Mississippi
I ain't
on
going.
Queen Mary, whatever that is. Man, I said, man, I ain't going to that bullshit.
Yeah. So then
You know how we be sometimes. man. Fuck that shit.
So I mean, we just ride, and I'm thinking, you know what I mean. 30 minutes later, I said, yeah, Rocky, we can go. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the way it brought me there to it was, I know my daughter liked to be with his daughters.
Jeez. It's always the kids
You
that
know what I
get back
mean?
together, right?
So I was like,
Look, let that be your excuse.
We're going to run with that, y'all. We want to pick back up where we left off. We did have some technical difficulties, growing pains, I would say.
what were we talking about?
We were talking about. Don't ask me. I smoke too many joints, man. It's still going. Damn, what were we talking about?
I think we just follow back in, conflict resolution.
Yeah, we were just talking about.
As a man, just figuring out how to balance it, and then talking to our kids about how they balance conflict resolution all the time too, because just
Oh, you guys were touching on the fact that how you guys end up having a conversation, and you were saying you were deciding that,
when we were driving,
and then your daughter likes playing with his daughter,
right?
Boom, boom, boom.
So, like I said, we were in the conversation, and then 30 minutes into the drive, I was like, you know what, just go ahead, let's go ahead and do it, or whatever, we'll go, and we ended up basically. It was nothing really even said. You know what I mean? It was like kind of nothing even happened. You know what I mean? Because we've been friends for so long or whatever. But again, we had a time the day before, because where we were staying, he came over there where we were staying. And again, a group of men, sitting there talking about, just life thing. Matter of fact, two pastors, right? Two pastors, which is his uncles.
One's my cousin-in-law and my biological cousin.
Right.
So,
right. So we're having the same thing we're having right now, conversation amongst men. Women was in there, having their conversation. We were in there having our conversation. So.
Damn. I like the name Fellowship, man. That shit rings a damn good bell. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we supposed to be able to do is you're supposed to be able to take something from.
Man, I promise you, even this right here.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, if you don't learn from this, what we doing right now,
wasted space.
man, you can just take the mics,
go home,
all the equipment, and roll.
because my goal is to teach both of you brothers exactly the same shit I'm doing. Because I'm like, no, I mean, it's because it's one of those things. It's like this. Again, peace to the guys and the earths up in Michigan and D-Mecca. I always got to give praises to Allah. But if I got knowledge and I don't share that, and that's something that I did here on Learning Egypt when I was gone, and everyone lives by the same creed. If you know something that can help the betterment of somebody or something that will stick with them, it may not even turn into a career, but if it's something that they can use, if you don't share that knowledge, you're stingy, you're selfish. And as the brothers from the 5%ers say, you're a devil. You're holding, you know the truth. You know this is going to help. Why not share that? Knowledge, people say knowledge is key, but I like to say applied knowledge is key. Because you could tell a horse, hey, it's cold water over there in that lake. But if he doesn't go over there and drink it, you can bring him to it. If he don't drink that water, it's wasted. So we got to be able to provide not only services and conflict resolution, but we got to be able to provide, services to each other. We got to be able to lift each other. Other communities do it. They get together, believe in the core. This is the core. If we not on one accord, we're doing it wrong. And I think, by you being a first round draft pick, it needed to fit. It's all or nothing. That's how I roll. If you my dog, I'm rolling with you to the end, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? We build a relationship. We out somewhere. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's how I roll. And that's how I looked at it when Vince started this. And I said, hey, look, I'm riding with you all the way because we have a rapport. And that's another thing. We got to know how to build rapports with each other, man. Listen, I don't mind telling my brother I love him.
That's a big topic because, man, like, honestly,
that's a whole.
So I think we're gonna.
Big bro, man, dudes would tell my cousins, everybody, man, love you, Chuck. I'm like, okay, all right, bro.
Right.
What the fuck is wrong with this nigga, man? You be looking at him and shit.
Right.
But
all right, bro. But now you know what, man? Like I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem doing that at all now because guess what, man? Like you don't just say you don't know the next time you know.
hey, we might get that call one day, man. We might get that call. So
That's gonna be another
appointment we all got to
discussion.
yes, we're gonna definitely. And as we and I think we'll talk offline about because we got the group chat going, right? So we'll just bounce some things off. Again, like I was telling, the other Fourth Musketeers, I got the most time out of everybody that's free. Not to brag about it, but I don't. Most of my work I do editing is late at night. When the wife is asleep, I done gave you your 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever time you want. If you need it, I do the most time. So I have no problem, again, putting in the work for the squad. You know what I'm saying? And I got to get you that updated
Matter of fact, I can
promo.
let you take my computer.
Yeah, let me take that so I can put the tutorials on there for you and shit. I build computers too, just to drop.
That's a good one. Just go ahead and say what you do, man.
So, and we didn't really do intros like that, but
No, we didn't.
But it's cool though because they will get to learn who we are throughout the podcast. But me, I want to say something though before I get into like what I do and stuff. I think the biggest lesson that we can give our brothers, our young babies out there, is that it's okay to agree to disagree. It's okay to take a step back, realize and think about the consequences. I think we need to be able to foresee or have foresight is what they call it, to see what's coming ahead. And I think that would help with the conflict resolution. Now, the communication part of it, you just got to have an open mind. You got to be open-minded. You got to be able to take it. I don't mind. I told Vince this too when we started this. I said, if you feel that I'm slacking, you have the authority to get me together. However you do it. Because I grew up in a house where my grandmother was the most rawest person I've ever experienced. She will say something God-fearing though. We'll go to church on Sunday, but guarantee she's cussing by the end of By Monday, she's a cursor. But she didn't curse at me. But she would say some things that was truthful. And truth doesn't come with a bow. But it helped me to build that tough skin. So if we're in a partnership together or we're in some type of business together and you feel like I'm not holding my weight, hey, pull me to the side. Hey, brother, I'm going to need you to step it up. I think that's another thing that we can help.
Yeah.
Just from my opinion, we can help. So I think my lesson to the kids is just it's okay to do those things. It's okay to disagree with your boy. And it's okay to walk away. You know, it's okay to do that, you know. But on the flip, I don't do a lot of things. I'm not a jack of all trades. I don't master a lot of stuff. I just touch a lot of stuff. I can build your computer. I can shoot a film for you. I can shoot a music video. I can shoot a commercial. I mortgage underwrite, but don't look for me because I'm not telling you how to get a home. You got to talk to your LO on that. And soon, though, my man Vince here is going to be putting me up on some game outside of what we're doing. It's going to help create some generational wealth, I hope. Yeah,
sir.
Yeah, but that's me, you know.
So along with that, with what he just said, I own my own pool service business. We build pools, remodel pools, different things like that. So I'm just always some type of business owner. Of course, I dibble and dabble in crypto stock, which I think we all need to get involved in some investment.
That could be the next episode too.
But not just to carry along there, but we're also gonna have different lines of people on here, like some financial literacy guys, people that own their own businesses and dibble dab in them into their business and talk about them and different things like that. But go ahead.
Well, before I go into my own little spill, I want to say something to Vince. Like he said earlier, we've been friends for over 20 years, and man, I see your growth. And a lot of times we don't give that homage like that, man. I see your growth, man.
Is that your I love you?
I want to think that it is.
Look at this man. You see, I ain't gonna try to push me out there. Look, I see your growth, man, and man, I respect you a hell of a lot, man. And,
Damn, he's giving that man his flowers, man. That's another lesson for y'all out there, man.
And you know what?
That's a lot.
I knew he was gonna say it, but how I felt.
How did you feel? Did you need a tissue or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
It's uncomfortable.
How?
Because we don't know how. We don't know how to receive it or give it.
That was a quick lesson. Pay attention to how he just did that, because that's most of us out here.
The crazy part about it, I could give it. But if he was to do it to me, I'm standoffish.
What the fuck is wrong? Get to look at this shit like, what the fuck is wrong with this? Did you snort something today?
But that's with anything. I'm a giver. I like giving, but I don't directly know how to
receive it.
But the crazy part about not knowing how to receive it, I can give you something. Here, Spike, take this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep your hands closed, you're double edging me, because what I'm saying is if I hand you something and you keep your hands closed, guess what? You're not receiving.
And you're not giving. You're not giving. You're taking. You're taking.
So not that I'm looking for a blessing to give to you, but if your hands are closed, you're not receiving, and I'm not going to get the blessing what God has for me.
Right. Because you gave something, and God now is going to bless you, but He's not receiving. So you're not allowing God to give you.
A lot of times, big bro, I like to take things back to the Word. I'm not that savvy in it, but I know what God have. The Bible says, "Train up a child in the way it should go. When it's old, they won't depart from me." So there's some things that's put inside of me already from a kid.
That stuck with you.
That has stuck with me. Well, just a little bit about me. I know you done heard of several names. My name is Wilson Marshall, but my mom and family call me Chuck, but my street homeboys call me Diesel, and that's another story, another topic for another day. But I'm 25 to 27 years out of the chemical oil field business, and that's where Tanya and I met. And That's another story too, man. But
We got stories.
I've been in that field for a while, and I decided last year to shut it down and pursue a career in real estate. And so I went off and got my real estate license. Just became a realtor, and as well I started doing some other work at this other chemical plant. So, but as well, my thing, I know our main topic is for the youth, but man, I really would like to, of course, with the youth, but more so to reach out to some brothers, because a lot of times we, to some more older brothers, because a lot of times we're more standoffish, and sometimes it takes a complete stranger to tell you some things that you're doing wrong that'll open up your eyes. And man, that's the basic tool that I'm pretty sure Spike and Tiny, that's what we want to do, not just for the kids, open up other brothers' eyes so they can maybe see maybe some things that they might not be doing right or doing right, but maybe need a little tweaking, because even with those words that being brought into us, maybe we can learn from that as well. And that's what I want to offer.
Right. So this is our first episode of Inline Conversation. Y'all tune in, and we'll go from there. And look forward to our next videos, and we'll be back with you.
Yep, and you know, videos drop every week, every other week,
Friday.
every Friday. It may be roughly around the afternoon. You can ride home and listen to it. Catch us on all platforms.
Don't drop on that Friday. Don't hold us.
Don't hold us up. It's just the editing might be. I got an hour worth of. Like I said, my goal is to teach these brothers how to do this shit. Who are you just have the time, you know what I'm saying, do it. But catch us on all platforms, you know, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. So, you know, we will be posting our Instagrams and Facebooks and all that with the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow, comment. And if you got something to add on to the conversation, don't hesitate to hit the comment section on YouTube. We are open to all discussions. Again, this is your boy Spike, along with Vince and Chuck, for Inline Conversations with Men. And we hope that you learned something today. Peace.